Angry MGTOW here, I guess. Today we're going to be discussing why feminism is now destroying the lives of women. And it's getting pretty bad out there. So we're going to go ahead and we'll jump into the intro first because I know how much you guys love your intro. Oh, gosh. Gosh. So you got some intro. It wasn't perfectly formatted, but uh, what's perfect in life? All right, so let's see what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about what's happening and how feminism is truly destroying the lives of women now. We're gonna look at a video. Oh shit! So I had a great video set up for you guys, and gotta love the fact I just installed VLC Media Player, and the player was set up to show. It was set up to show you a video that showed how feminism is destroying the lives of women. However, it decided to... Okay, so there's the video, and it's loaded back up. So let me go ahead and mute the microphone so it doesn't have that horrible echo, and we'll go ahead and look at this video. This video is, I think it's from France, but it's basically somewhere in Europe, and there's a woman who is basically challenging one of the refugees, Islamic refugees, and this is it doesn't initially I thought that maybe she had attacked him, but it doesn't look like she attacked him at all. And there's been a very common practice overseas right now where these men are choosing to literally segregate themselves from the women. So let's go ahead and watch the video. So this video was actually posted on Twitter, and I was like shocked when I saw it. Uh, this is downright psychotic. I mean, I'm looking at Twitter right now. There's this woman named Connie. She says, "Girl, where are the men in these situations? My entire family would be in jail, and two people would be dead, honestly." And where are the men in these situations? Men are going their own way. When you attack men, when you make hashtags like kill all white men, when you attack men for simply saying hello to you, when you say that there's a rape culture in the West, when you have guys who literally are being thrown in jail because of consensual sex with a woman, what do you think ends up happening? You end up with a society where these men turn their backs on society, on women, and they leave them to the bastards of society. They leave them to the men who aren't afraid to beat women and to attack women. What's even more interesting is that Muslim men, these men in these countries, are getting away with murder. If I hit a woman, I would be going to jail. If I wrongfully attacked a woman, put my hands on a woman for no reason, I'd be going to jail. But in a lot of these countries, if you're a Muslim or an asylum seeker, you can actually end up not even going to jail for hitting a woman, because they'll say that it's a part of their culture, and they'll literally appeal to they'll literally appeal to the country, saying that they're being discriminated against. In fact, there are some Muslims who've actually said that it's like their right to rape, and this has actually like gotten them out of court and out of jail and prosecution in places like Sweden, and in Germany. The chancellor and German officials, females, women in the German government, are telling women to cover up. They are telling women to cover up if they don't want to be raped. And the funny thing is, it was the feminists who brought these crazy people into the country. I mean, women have done this. They have literally created a society where now they're creating a rape culture. There was no rape culture in the West. Now they're creating a rape culture in the West. A rape culture. They're bringing in rapists. They're bringing in murderers. They're bringing in thugs. They're bringing in the people who actually do hate women. They're literally creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, it's like how when feminists began interviewing women and couldn't prove that there was a rape culture on campus, they then began redefining what was rape, what was considered rape. And they literally started saying, well, so verbal, if a man says something to you that you don't like and you take it in a sexual way, you've been sexually assaulted. That's a sexual assault. If he touches you on the arm but you didn't consent to that touch, you've been sexually assaulted. And this is the same thing that they're doing in the West. They could not actually prove that there is a real rape culture here, so they started importing rapists. They started importing the most violent types of men who actually do hate women. And they basically started calling us xenophobic and discriminating. So you know what ends up happening? Men just say, "We've had enough. We're done. We're gonna let them come in. We'll protect ourselves, but we're done. We'll let them have you." And this is exactly what's happening. You saw these women getting beat. This woman getting beaten in the video. If you notice, there were men standing on the outside. A bunch of men were standing on the outside watching this woman getting beat, kicked, attacked. And none of them came to her rescue. Why? Because they did not want to involve themselves. Men are increasingly becoming beta males. And it's downright sickening. It is downright sickening what is happening in society. It's sickening, it's upsetting, but it doesn't surprise me because at the end of the day, women have literally created a system, a society where men are now turning their backs on women. They're no longer acting like protectors because women have killed their protectors. They've said that their protectors are rapists. I mean, we literally had a hashtag about a year or two ago that said, "Kill all men." Kill all men. How do you go around saying kill all men and then think that's okay? It's not okay. It's not okay at all. And as a result of what women have done, now they're going to pay a severe price for it. They're paying a severe price for it. One, they're losing the ability to start families, have children, create something meaningful. They're losing the ability to simply just be women and have free time for themselves. They're losing the protection of men. We don't need men. Women need men like a fish needs a bicycle. No, women need men like a fish needs water to breathe. That's the truth. Without men, women can't do anything. Women need men because they need men to complete them. They need men to lead them. They need men to help them in every way possible. You talk about medicine, you talk about everything. When it comes to women, men practically have to wipe their asses for them. I'm not joking about it, I'm being honest. Every advancement that has come along to help women in their lives has been done by men. Everything. I mean, if you want to talk about even gynecology was pioneered by men. The C-section. Who developed the C-section? Men. All of the things that women so love, women's hospitals, all the technology that's specifically designed for women, who pioneered this stuff? Men. Mostly white men also. There's this notion that white men are these evil and hateful people. But I think that that's something that, there's hateful people in all groups. Honestly, I think that one of the biggest problems among white men right now is the fact that they're too giving and they're too kind. White men they keep on giving people chances and allowing themselves to be taken advantage of. How many white men are sleeping in their cars right now? How many white men have had their lives ruined? It's like I scratch my head so many times when I hear about, a white man going out of his way to help others, and then people saying, "Oh, look at him sharing the privilege." And I'm thinking to myself, this guy is making the same amount of money that everyone else is making, but he is going out of his way to prove that he's trying to be a good human being, and he's sharing his white male privilege. You've got to be kidding me. And then when white men go out of their way to help others, they're attacked, demonized, belittled by society. Men in general are. I mean, like I said, look at what happened in the black communities where men just got up and walked away. Black men just walked away, walked away. And now white men are walking away, literally walking away from society, walking away from women. In the video I showed you, it looks like, in the video I pulled up, it looks like there were white men standing around there. It looks like there were men. There were men, definitely men standing around. We'll play the video again. Let me play the video. So, if you guys noticed, there was a guy coming up to her at the end and he had a backpack on. That was a white guy. He didn't look like a Muslim guy. That was a white guy. And there were kids, there were young people, young men standing on the outside of that video shot. And they didn't look like Muslims either. Guys, this is society. They stood there and they allowed this woman to be beaten. And they did nothing. This is the new form of man too, the emasculated man, who basically does not have the capacity to stand up to aggressors. They basically turn their backs and they walk away. Men focus, essentially men are saying, okay, you know what, we'll protect ourselves, but we're not going to protect you. We're not going to help you. We're not going to stand up for women. We're not going to be that anymore. Women killed their protectors. And it's like, I get no joy. When I was very, very angry, when I was really angry, I used to think, when I was angry, I used to think, well, you know what? Serves them right. But now that I'm not so angry anymore, I don't enjoy watching a woman getting beaten. I don't enjoy, like, for example, if a woman attacks a man and she starts beating the crap out of him and he fights back, I say, good for him. But just watching a woman getting the shit beat out of her, there's nothing enjoyable in that. There's nothing enjoyable in watching a woman just getting the shit beat out of her for no reason. Especially if she didn't do anything she was an aggressor. There's no enjoyment in that. But this is the society that women have created, feminists have created. Women love to create chaos, but now they've created so much chaos that it's becoming a non-stop ball. It's like a giant boulder rolling down a hill and killing everyone in its path. And the people who are going to be crushed by it the most are women who don't have the ability to get out of the way as quickly as men do. They're not as strong as men. They're not as logical as men. They're not as rational as men. And they are the most susceptible to being attacked by the bastards of single mothers, by the aggressive men, by the men who truly do hate women. If you want to find men that hate women, they say MGTOWs hate women. They say sometimes I hate women because I talk about a world where there are no women. I talk about a world where there are no women. But at the same time, I've said things along the lines of I don't believe it's going to happen in our lifetime. I don't believe that we should commit genocide to achieve this. I don't believe that women should be hurt because I get no joy in seeing women be suffering. But they say that the MGTOWs are hateful. But then you have men like this beating the shit out of women. Where the fuck are the feminists? Silent. Silent. The feminists are silent because all they actually care about is securing more and more privilege for themselves. Where the fuck is Meryl Streep? Where the fuck is Meryl Streep? She's at the Oscars talking about white male privilege and why white women in the United States and in the Western world need more privilege, while women are being beaten, killed, assaulted by men who actually hate women. Where the hell are these great pioneers of women's rights, of women? They're nowhere to be found because they are hypocrites. They are fighting for power and privilege for themselves. And if you notice, it's poor women who are suffering the most. It's poor women who don't have money, who don't have privilege, who don't have the same status as these privileged women have. It's the most privileged women in society that are fighting for more privileges and saying that society is sexist, racist, and everything needs to be changed. It's the women at the top that are tearing down society, and it's the women at the bottom who are being impacted the most by what they're doing. If any change actually happens, if anything actually happens that improves the lives of women, it'll have to be done by men. Because women aren't doing anything for women. Women are not rational. It's gone from bad to worst, and it's just going to keep on getting worse. And men are increasingly disengaging and saying, you know what? I've had enough of this nonsense. I've dealt with enough of female bullshit. You're fucked if you do, you're fucked if you don't, so I'm just not going to be bothered anymore. I'm not going to play the game anymore. I'm not going to engage myself with women anymore. I see a woman getting stomped out by some man or a group of other women. I'm not involving myself. I'm going to keep on moving. And as you can see, guys, the beta males are now so passive. The manginas are now so passive. They're not coming to rescue the women. They're standing on the side like other women would do, watching these women getting their asses handed to them by bastards of single mothers, by men who actually hate women. We've created a society of weak and broken men. China is literally discussing segregating the genders right now at the school level. In 4th and 5th grade, boys are being given books that talk about masculinity and the importance of masculinity. They're talking about separating boys and girls in schools now because boys are becoming too effeminate and too weak. The Chinese government is seeing this as a masculinity crisis, and they are ramping up efforts to address this. And here in the West, we're not doing anything. The closest thing that we have to a resurgence of masculinity is Donald Trump. But the funny thing is that the schools, everyone is still fighting him. They're still trying to push a liberal agenda. And if you want to talk about violence, look at all the violence that erupted after Donald Trump became president. These idiots blocking off the roads, setting limousines and trash cans on fire, assaulting police officers. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. They talk about white supremacy. They talk about a white man who says that white genocide is happening, or that white men are not being focused upon, white men are being attacked unrightfully by society, and you're called a white supremacist? No, it's no wonder that men are choosing to turn their backs entirely on society. It's no wonder that men are not defending women anymore. It's no wonder that men are choosing to go their own way. I said it that MGTOW is just a philosophy. And it's a philosophy that is spreading. It's a philosophy that is becoming more prominent. You don't have to call yourself a MGTOW to be a MGTOW. But when you look at the behavior of men in society, men are not getting married. Men are not having children. Men are focusing on their passions and themselves. Even without calling themselves MGTOW, we have many MGTOWs being born each and every single day. And as more men begin going down the rabbit hole and choosing this path, they're going to continue saying, you know what? Are there any other men doing this? And if there are, what are they saying? And when they start looking, they're going to find MGTOW. This is the trend of society. And women are now finding themselves out in the cold. I coined a term recently. I coined a term called the she session. The she session is coming. The she session is essentially in the new economic climate, in a new shift. Women will be the ones to lose the majority of jobs, the vast majority of jobs. Cashiers are being phased out throughout the country. Cashiers, bank tellers, these core jobs are being phased out. McDonald's, Walmart, all of these companies are phasing out these core basic jobs. Data entry, they are being phased out left and right and being replaced by technology. And the people who have the ability to actually use this technology, to actually create and design, these are men. Engineers are men, and they are going to continue to be men. Women are traditionally lazy. And I don't like to, I'm not saying all women are lazy, but just because you have a small group of extraordinary women, that doesn't make up for the majority of women who choose to, sit around and do nothing. They don't want to be engineers. They don't want to spend years studying. They don't actually have a passion for any of this. That is the real dilemma here. Women have priced themselves out of the job market. Donald Trump it was either today or yesterday. As of making this video, it's January 25th, as of the date of making this video, Eastern time, and Donald Trump recently put a hiring freeze. He just put a hiring freeze either today or the day before on federal jobs, where where you can no longer hire anyone else to the federal government unless they are a part of the military, Department of Homeland Security, essentially, unless they are protecting the country, jobs specifically that men do, you're not getting a job. And as we know, that many of the jobs that women hold in society are government jobs. By putting a freeze on hiring of government jobs, Donald Trump is literally phasing out the positions that women would quickly deviate to. They're not going to be able to get the government jobs that they were getting before. They're not going to be able to get the jobs as cashiers. Increasingly, these jobs are disappearing. And the cost of keeping a woman as an employee is going up. It's going through the roof. As productivity is something that companies want more of, they're going to just start firing. Donald Trump said something interesting about Apple. He said that if Apple he wants Apple to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. He wants them to make the iPhone in the U.S. And he said that if they use machines to make the iPhones, then it will be people in the US that build the machines that make the iPhones. But the kinds of people that build the machines that make the iPhones and help to push forward a new manufacturing industry in the US that is driven by technology are going to be men. They're going to be engineers. They're going to be men, not women. And when women are pushed out of the working market, they're not finding men who want to marry them anymore, who want to take care of them. So they can't find jobs, they can't find men. I keep on saying you're going to see a group of women in a FEMA camp. Women are going to literally be poured into FEMA camps when they can't find men who want to take care of them, they can't find jobs, and the government is cutting everything off. Section 8 is going to go. Ben Carson, the new head of HUD, he refers to Section 8 as a form of slavery. He refers to Section 8 as a form of slavery. He says the government should not control how people live, where they live, and that you have to use tough love to help people get off government assistance, to help people to lead their lives. He's going to throw these women onto the street. This is not a game. They've already shut off funding. Trump, as soon as he came into office, he almost instantly cut off funding for HUD programs that provide low-income people with the ability to purchase homes. People who don't have money, don't even have the proper income to purchase a property, specifically women. So he's cutting off access of women to purchase property. Guys, women are losing all the privileges that they once held. And the funny thing is that I talked about the rape laws. I talked about all the incentives that feminists have set up, such as yes means yes. Yes means yes is going to get thrown out. Hear me when I say this. If yes means yes goes before the Supreme Court in California, in New York, in the US, it will get thrown out. It's being thrown out left and right. And it's going to be women that start pushing for rape laws and all the laws that feminists have set up to demonize, belittle, and attack men. They're going to be the ones fighting to get rid of these laws because men don't want to have anything to do with them. One of the worst things you can do to a woman is ignore her. Women love attention. Women require constant attention. L. Hall says Ben Carson is my kind of black man. The sad thing about Ben Carson, I've talked about this before, is that the average young black guy will never know who Ben Carson is. The average black man doesn't know who Ben Carson is. If they know who Ben Carson is, they think that he is the guy who is going to take away their HUD, their Section 8. That's the only way they know of Ben Carson. They don't know of the brilliant neurosurgeon. To be honest with you, if anyone respects Ben Carson, it's probably gonna be a white person. It's not gonna be a black person. Black people don't resonate with people like Ben Carson. They resonate with rappers like Jay-Z who sell crack cocaine. The black culture in America is fucked. It's fucked. It's hands down fucked. I talked about Ben Carson in another video, and a black guy came to my video and said that he said Carson ain't gonna do shit. Carson ain't doing shit, and then he made some comment about Trump. Like, they're gonna stop Trump. I mean, if you look at the kinds of black men today that there are out there, they're just like their bastard mothers. They want everything for free. They want everything handed to them. They don't value hard work. They don't value anything of value. They want everything handed to them. L. Hall says the average black man needs to learn who Ben Carson is. Dude, you have to understand that black Americans, they don't have the same, their culture is different. What they want in America is something completely different. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to go to college. The average black person doesn't want to go to college. They want everything handed to them. They want everything given to them. They want everything given to them. They think that Obama is Jesus. They think that Obama has come to save them. It's hard for me to explain. I'm beginning to see what blacks have become, and I don't really see much of a path going forward. I think the best thing that could happen to happen to blacks in America is to literally have everything taken away, have social welfare programs stripped away from them. A lot of them will have to end up on the streets. Many of them will end up suffering, and it will be through suffering that those who survive rebuild and thrive. That's the only way. There's gonna have to be a lot of people suffering. There's gonna be a lot of blacks on the streets. There's gonna be a shitload of women on the streets. All the people that have been living off social welfare programs are gonna be on the streets. To be honest with you, the society that we're heading into is going to be where white males are going to thrive again, thrive and survive. But when I say white males, I'm talking about men. It's a culture specifically, men who actually went to college, men who actually want to achieve something. You don't have to be a genius to do anything. You don't have to be a genius to go and open a sandwich shop. To be honest with you, I think that white men in the last 100 years have been the least privileged group, and that's the reason why they thrive more than African Americans, more than women, because no one hands a white man anything. You don't get a white male privilege card by being white. You actually have to go out and get everything. You want to do something, you want to survive, you don't want to be homeless, you have to do something. Blacks, on the other hand, they see the government as helping them and taking care of them. Women see the government as helping them and taking care of them. If you're a white male, no one's going to take care of you. You have to figure out a way to take care of yourself quickly. That's why white men thrive, while all these other groups are suffering, because everything they have is based around government subsidiaries, based around handouts. But handouts eventually run out. I want to know what you guys think, if you guys agree that feminism is now destroying the lives of women. And we're going to see more and more men withdrawing from society, focusing on themselves, focusing on their own lives, their own happiness, and leaving women to the mercy of the bastards of single mothers, leaving women to the mercy of the government, leaving women to the chaos that they've created. Let me know if you agree with that. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider heading over to my YouTube homepage or just clicking on the link in the description of this video to go to my PayPal and leave a donation, which will help to ensure I can continue putting out more quality content for you guys. And don't forget to, and if you have a video request, include your video request in the message section when you send your donation. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. Oh my gosh, we had 132 viewers today. And cheers.